right.
I'm going to give you the Colts schedule going forward from here. You're going to give me wins and losses, and we'll figure out where their record is around week 15, week 6. But that's where we sit as of right now. John McMullen and I disagreed a little bit on whether the Colts will pull the plug on a Carson Wentz season. That their general manager, John, firmly believes if they're locked into a quote-unquote lottery type pick. I know the NFL doesn't have lottery, but you know what the lottery is in the NBA as compared to all their other picks. A pick somewhere in the first 12 picks or so. That they will make sure that Carson Wentz never gets to 75% of the snaps of the Colts this year. And that's very likely to happen, but I don't think it's impossible that the Colts end up having a bad year because the Titans aren't going to run away and hide in that division, that they're still in the mix well up to week 13 and 14. And remember, we're now going week 18 because we're playing 17 games, that they're still mathematically involved. I don't know if the Colts just want to go, all right, we're done. Let's be honest with ourselves. We really, even though mathematically we're still involved, we're going to tank the season and we're going to pull Carson Wentz from the game. Yeah. Because the other thing that we didn't talk about with John, I want to get your take on, JK. You do that, you're severing all ties with Carson Wentz. You know that, right? So as soon as you pull him, we know how he reacted last year to being pulled. How'd that go? You do that with him again when he's playing decent. Oh, by the way, he was god awful with the Eagles, and he lost his mind when they pulled him from the starting lineup. This year, he's solid. He's good. He was very good last night, but for the season, you would say he's pretty good. If they pull him and that's the case, then you've just written him off and just said, okay, we'll take the dead cap hit. Not as big as the Eagles one, but we'll take a dead cap hit and we'll move on from Carson Wentz next year. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion if they do that. If it's, we got to rebuild, we got to go find another quarterback now, or we don't blame Carson Wentz, even though we may or may not make the playoffs. I don't know that they're going to pull him and just say, yeah, we're going to protect that first round pick.
Yeah. First of all, if you mean to tell me that if the Indianapolis Colts are 2 games behind the Tennessee Titans in week 14, week 15 in mid to late December, or 1 game back, they're going to tank the season. Yeah, that ain't happening. Sorry, it's not. They're going to try to win that division, especially since they have, if I remember correctly, a late season game with Tennessee. By the way, their wins are going to come. They do play the Houston Texans twice. They will play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their wins are going to come. So they're going to be theoretically in it. But yeah, you are absolutely right, Jody. You know what you're doing. Like, I saw Colts fans want to fire Frank Reich, but they want to keep Carson Wentz. I'm like, that ain't how it works. Carson Wentz is here because Frank Reich's his quarterback. I mean, his head coach. That's why he's here. So if you're severing ties with Frank Reich, you're severing ties with Carson Wentz. And I don't think the Colts really want to do that. The Colts organization, from what I was told this all season, felt they have their franchise quarterback. Well, if you think you have your franchise quarterback, why would you bench him? Or whatever, especially when he's playing well. It's not like he's terrible. He's not lighting the world on fire here, but last night showed you a glimpse of how good Carson Wentz can potentially be in that offense. I mean, again, should the game have come down to Rodrigo Blankenship? No, it shouldn't. But you have to look at it. Did Carson Wentz make the throws? No, because you couldn't make them here. It's a very tough conundrum here. And, a lot of people still like to say the Eagles made a mistake trading him. I definitely am not one of them. He was the worst quarterback in football last year for real. Oh, I'm sorry, second worst quarterback. Drew Lock was the worst quarterback. But he was not good last year, and he needed to change the scenery. He's playing decent in Indianapolis. He played really well last night. Probably didn't deserve to lose the game, but lo and behold, he did. Eagles fans should be happy. They're 1-4. He's playing halfway decent. He doesn't deserve to get benched. But yeah, the Indianapolis Colts are not benching him. Look, Brett Hundley is their backup quarterback. They're not bringing in anybody, a decent backup quarterback, if he gets hurt. Why? Because that might affect him. They know this.
I think that's why they brought in Brett Hundley, because I think JAKIB was actually someone that he could be concerned about. So let's get a guy in between that we know can't really play. and we'll keep Carson's head on his shoulders. All right. Besides that, do me a favor. You got a pen and piece of paper there?
I do, actually.
Okay, get it out.
All right.
I'm going to give you the Colts schedule going forward from here.
All
You're
right.
going to give me wins and losses, and we'll figure out where their record is around week 15, week 6.
So.
All right. This week, they've got the Texans. So that's a W.
Yeah.
So that gets them to 2-4. The week after at San Francisco. Ooh, see, that's a tough game to judge because we don't know who's going to be the quarterback for San Francisco. Will Garoppolo be back? Trey Lance has got a knee issue. Will the unstoppable Nate Sudfeld be doing the quarterback?
Nate Sudfeld versus Carson Wentz, Battle of Ex-Eagles. You got to love it.
That should be funny. But it's at San Francisco, so we'll call that one a loss, okay? The week after, Tennessee at home. You calling that a win or a loss, Chef Kerr?
At home. Tennessee loves to run Derrick Henry. I'll go with, I got to go Tennessee on that one.
Okay, so that's a loss. So that's now 2-6. That's not good. Home Jets win 3-6. Home Jacksonville win 4-6. At Buffalo loss. At home Tampa, but it's Tampa, same thing. We think the Eagles are going to have problems. We got to think Colts going to have problems too. So that's another loss. So what are we up to? 4-8?
4-8.
At Houston, win. Houston's terrible. 5-8. Ooh, here's a good one. The next week, home New England.
Win.
That's 2 evenly matched teams. Jeff Kerr, you got to make the call on that. They're 5-8.
I think Colts win. I think the Colts beat them.
Okay, that's 6-8. At Arizona the next week, loss.
No.
6-9. So 6-9.
And that's at Christmas time.
That's right at Christmas. That's right at the time Carson Wentz will be moving up to 75% of the plays. I think they're still in it. I think they're still gunning. I think they're still going for it. I don't think they're going to pull the plug on Carson Wentz this year.
The Tennessee Titans aren't the Dallas Cowboys. They're not running away with this division. They're not. They string together wins. It's because of how bad the division is. I mean, this isn't a lightning bolt team here. There are, and remember, the Titans play a first place schedule. They gotta play Buffalo. They have to play Kansas City. They have to play these teams. This isn't all cut and dry here. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough if they do what we think we're going. Maybe the Colts pull off an upset somewhere in there. That might even be better, but it's not going to be a top 5, top 10 pick. But top 15, you got a shot.
Yeah, I am a big Jeff Kerr fan, specifically on CBSSports.com. I read whenever you do right. I'm also a big Peter King fan. I take it you are too? Yeah, Peter's very good. He's as good as it gets. On Pro Football Talk these days, that's where you find his column, NBC, Forever in Sports Illustrated. He took a serious shot at Julio Jones in his column this week that the Tennessee Titans traded for him. And Julio, at this stage of his career, misses a whole lot of games. And he's missing games again this year for the Titans. And they've had both of their top 2 wide receivers out of the lineup. All of a sudden, their quarterback is coming back to the pack. He's not quite as highly rated as he has been last year. And I gave him credit because I was never a Tannehill guy. When the Dolphins drafted him, I rolled my eyes. When he lost games in Miami, I kind of went down the I told you so road. And he really has had a second act of his career in Tennessee, but he's not playing as well. And if he doesn't have his top wide receiver, he's not the kind of guy who's going to make a mediocre wide receiver look real good. And if Julio Jones is out of their lineup for a period of time, I'm not going to go that division could be the NFC least of last year, but it could be close.
I rank the divisions every week.
You could absolutely have a team winning that division this year at 8-9.
I don't think it'll be 8-9. I don't think it's going to be NFC least territory. But when I rank the divisions every week, I got to do it to the AFC South is by far the worst division in football. It's not even close. Like, the NFC North can give it a run, but the NFC North is the Green Bay Packers in it. There's no one in the AFC South where you just go, oh, yeah, that team's pretty good. No, it's not. It's not a good division. I'll say this, Jody. When I rank these divisions every week, there are 3 really good divisions. The AFC West, the NFC West, and the AFC North. Then you got the AFC East and the NFC South. They're like, okay, yeah, they deserve to be where they are in the middle. And then you just got, the NFC East is better than the AFC South.
Yeah, they are.
And they're better than the NFC North, honestly. Like, Washington did not help that cause this week. Losing to the Saints, and Giants definitely didn't help, but they had a bunch of injuries. But, the Eagles won, and, Dallas was really good. So it's tough, but the AFC South, they're bad. It's just a bad division. Colts are 1-4. The Titans aren't that great. The Texans are the Texans. They're 1-4. And Jacksonville's 0-5. They're a walking dumpster fire. It's amazing, like, how bad this division is. I mean, I do a lot out division record wise. I actually had the AFC South record going into this week. It was 2-10 in out division games.
Yeah, they're not good. Beware that AFC North. The Bears at 3-2. Justin Fields may be one of those guys who just wins games, doesn't put up big numbers. I think personally they've got the cuffs on him the way Miami had the cuffs on Tua Tagovailoa last year, not letting him throw the ball downfield. Almost Nick Sirianni like here in Philadelphia.
My bold prediction with the Bears this year was I had to do one for every team. I said the Bears will make the playoffs if Justin Fields starts week 1. He didn't start week 1. So, but they have a shot because the NFC, no one's outside of a couple teams. It's like you were saying yesterday, those are a half game out of this thing. And the Bears they're a wild card team right now. So I could be wrong there. The Bears might make it just because the NFC outside the top half, it's not that very good.
JK, good stuff again today. Thank you much for jumping into Johnny Mac's slot. We'll certainly get you up at least one day next week. You did a very good job for us this week. Thank you much, brother.
Always a pleasure, Jody. I love coming on here.
My pleasure. John McMullen will be back tomorrow as we lead up to the Thursday night game between the Eagles and the Bucks. We'll be back here in 22 hours on Bird.